Hi, and welcome back to this episode of Zach's least favorite track to drive in sim racing, the Hungaroring. So
Not
excited.
on my top list either.
Avoid at all costs.
Yeah, well, I'm not terribly excited about this track in general either, and we'll get into why that is. But yeah, last race before the summer break, so we'll see if it can deliver.
I sure hope so. It'd be great to go out with a banger. I do not have high hopes, but the new regs have proven to surprise us here and there, so
At
we'll
least
see.
in terms of entertainment value. So maybe that'll be the change this year. I figured we would jump in with some fun facts, going back through the history of the Hungarian
All
Grand
right.
Prix. So first race started in 1985. It was the first race around this circuit. At the time, that was still during the Cold War era, where we had the Iron Curtain. And so this was the first race on the east side, the Soviet-controlled side of the border there. So I thought that was a very interesting
Yeah.
fact there. And it's
Wonder
one of
how
the longer
traveling was going for
tenured
that race.
circuits. Yeah. We think about how crazy it is now, but yeah, crossing borders like that. Eeh. It's about a 2.7 mile track, so that's about 4.4 kilometers, which means it's going to be about a 70 lap race. I knew this in the back of my head, but I had never done the research. So the number of laps in a Grand Prix is based off of distance. And I always knew that, but I never understood what that distance was. I finally did the Google search. 305 kilometers at a minimum. And so that's how they base the number of laps per circuit.
I knew that too,
Which is
but
why
I never
some
looked it up
are
either.
40 laps and some are 70. So it gives you some perspective there. This is one of the tightest tracks on the circuit. I think that's probably one of the reasons we don't enjoy it in sim racing. It's very technical. It's largely unchanged since the track opened. And it's got the nickname of Monaco without the walls, which doesn't really have a ring to it, in my opinion. Like it's not a very cool nickname, but they'll say it. They'll say it multiple times throughout the weekend. Monaco without the walls.
Wallace, Monaco.
Yeah, I think what you have to take away from there is the driving style. It's really dependent on the driving line, and so rhythm matters, grip matters, downforce matters. They run Monaco trim levels in terms of downforce, and expect harder tires, and higher deg around this track. So, yeah,
It's interesting because the first, like sector one of the track is fairly high speed. I mean, you got the hairpin turn one, but then turn two is kind of it's not a high speed turn, but it's like a looping,
downhill
like a
left
swooping
sweeper.
left-hander, and then it's high speed until basically sector two.
Yeah, beginning of sector two, and then that entire back straight until you get back on the pit straight is very technical, very tight. So I went back through some of the records around this track. The race lap record, which is always when you hear about the lap record of a track, it's always during the race, which I find confusing because qualifying times tend to be faster with low fuel. So anyway, 1 minute 17. That was max in 2019.
My boy.
And then Lewis in 2020 put up the quickest lap, which is not officially the lap record, but quicker, which was a 1:13.4, which is pretty nuts. That era of F1 is arguably the quickest era of F1 ever. The 2020 cars, the level of downforce was just insane. When you look at the front wings of those cars, there's all kinds of little tunnels and winglets, and like the engineers were like smoking something. Like they were coming up with some crazy stuff
Let's
that
add
year.
another knob off this one.
Yeah, everyone was like locked down in COVID, and they're like, we're gonna cook up the craziest car right now, and the FIA just let them do it. So yeah, a lot of the track records wind up being that 2020 era car. I thought this would be fun.
Like that until we have another era that's similar.
Yeah, I thought this would be fun. So remember, first Grand Prix was 1985. Who do you think was on that podium? I'll give you your hint. Damn. It is 3 drivers that have all won driver championships in that 80s, 90s era. Fairly well-known names. Yep. He's P2.
Okay. It's a good start.
Safe bet. Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of the third. I'm going to say Prost.
No.
Wow.
Alan Prost was not on there.
Oh, I thought that was a guaranteed. I said is it Mansell?
One of them has a... Yes, good pull. Nigel Mansell, nice. P3.
What was your hint that was incoming?
It's a last name that you hear fairly regularly in the F1 circle today.
Schumacher.
Nope.
I don't remember when he started. He feels like he was racing younger.
He won his first championship in '94. I don't remember when he...
I don't know if he was even... Lauda.
No, another good guess. You're in the right era. My other hint, without any context, is Max Verstappen.
Oh,
father-in-law.
Yeah, that is a brain fart on the last name right now.
Kelly
is their last name's gone.
It's PK. It's Nelson PK.
PK, yeah.
I'll give you. I'll give you half a point. You knew. You just didn't have the name in your pocket.
Well, right when you said it, I'm like, oh, it's family.
Yeah. Yep. Any guesses as to what the pull time was? Lap record is 1:17. However, this was 35 years earlier.
Say 35 years earlier. Say a minute 22.2.
Ooh, I thought you were gonna nail it. 129.4. So it shows you how much.
Yeah. Holy crap!
Shows you how much quicker these cars have gotten.
I tried to give them I was torn on if it was gonna be a massive gap or it's hard to. 35 years is a long time.
Yeah, I would
I'll take
completely
2 out of 3
different
on the
cars.
podium though. It's not bad.
No, that was a solid pull. I give you your flowers for that. The other thing that I did some research on is some of the historic things that have happened around this track. So in 2003, Alonso won and became the youngest race winner at the time. He was 22 at the time. Obviously, that's been blown out of the water with Max and Kimi and these guys winning as teenagers. In 2006, we had the current pundit and 2009 driver championship winner with Braun GP, my man, Jenson Button. 2021 was Ocon's first and only win. That was a very interesting race. We started in damp conditions. Mercedes locked out the front row. Bottas had a poor start, dropped back. And then, whether it was lack of grip or poor reaction time, went into the back of Lando. Both of them cascaded, ran off wide, and took out both Red Bulls with them. So, 4 top drivers coming out of the fact. And yeah, Ocon. I don't remember what happened to Lewis that race, but he came out on top there.
I was just thinking there, but.
And then most recently, the big drama was 2024 and Oscar Piastri's first win. Obviously, that was tainted by the Papaya Rules controversy, where they pit Lando early, and he undercut Oscar, and then they basically told him to give up the position, and Lando said, "Catch me if you can," and he couldn't.
Made a point.
And so it took team orders to get him to give up the place. He did so on the very last lap. What's your take there? If you're Lando, do you give that position up?
Different strategies, man. I mean, I feel like we didn't have the podcast going, but we talked about this. I think, let's see, his engineer had the view of like, we're going to need him later in the season.
Mm-hmm. Which it didn't
So
pan out, but ultimately it did impact the way that they wound up racing in 2025 when Lando won. And I think if they had started off on the wrong foot and there was more inter-team drama there, 2025 probably would have looked a little bit differently.
I'm very competitive, so if I was in his shoes, I would have been like, catch me.
Yeah, it would have been like sucks
I'm
to suck. Yeah, I think
and
so
I
too.
think with like their ultimate goal, every single driver is, I want to win the drivers' championship.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's very situational. I don't remember what the points were, but it's like, okay, if Piastri had a big lead on Lando points-wise, like, okay, kind of makes sense. If y'all are close, I don't remember.
At this point, I think he was just fighting with Max. He was trying to catch up to Max.
Yeah.
And so the points were valuable. It ultimately didn't really cost him the championship in the end because he was more points than that behind. But it still kind of marred that race.
I would lean towards not giving it up. I mean, different strategies. Yeah. You have plenty of team situations where, you know, the driver behind's like, all right, pit me first, or I want to pit, and I mean that's purely strategic. Okay, I'm gonna undercut my teammate, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. Every single driver, if you ask them, the first person they're racing is their teammate. So,
yep,
all is fair.
That's who you're competing with.
I think if the gap is so big between teammates, and you're like, okay, we're doing well in constructors, I don't have a shot at beating Max, Lando does, and it's like that crucial. Yeah, sure, if you want to play the team game, but I still think that's, you know, like to your own discretion.
Yeah, I don't want to live in the past too much here, but if I'm Oscar and that's my first race win, that doesn't feel good. That was my first experience at the top of the podium.
That would suck.
Yeah, anyway, we were talking about how we really don't like this track. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we just don't drive it often. But I think it's a balance of downforce and top speed. So where you and I have raced this has been in F125, and at the time when we were racing that, they had some pretty overpowered top end speed. Well, on a track like this where Monaco spec downforce really matters, you can't keep up in a straight line, and so if you turn one is really the only overtaking spot, and so on a track where downforce matters, in order to be in a position to pass, you still need the top speed in order to make passes, and so that didn't go well for us, and as a result, we often skip it in our championships these days. So I think if we practice more, we'd get it.
Because I try to pass 10 people on turn one out of frustration. Which works sometimes.
Send it up the inside.
Go up the inside. Very technical track, difficult. I suck at it. I'll be the first one to tell you that I am absolutely terrible on this track. Yeah, I say I'm not looking forward to it. I look forward to every single F1 race. Me
Agreed.
Personally, not my favorite track.
And I'm hopeful. I'm cautiously hopeful that the new regulations bring a little bit more excitement to this track. This is another one of those races that can feel a little processional, where qualifying matters more than the race itself, just because the track is so tight and you only really have that one overtaking zone, unless there's a safety car or you have the right pit strategy. Those are really your only three options if you're trying to make a move up the order. So
sorry, I got animals going crazy.
Hopefully the new regs give us an opportunity. We've seen some overtakes in some weird locations at other tracks this year. Maybe we see some cool moves in Sector 1, but I still think the back half of this lap is so tight that I would be shocked to see someone make a pass there.
That's what I was going to jump in. I think Sector 1, I think obviously the front straight and the hairpin, we're going to see passes. I think a lot of those people that get past are going to be looking to use boost on turn 2 and take like an outside line or even an inside and try to do something there, because then you're almost guaranteed the lead for the rest of the lap, and then you'd be in the same situation every time. So you're going to get like a yo-yo over a lap every time. But hopefully, like you said, we get some creativity and some passes, or someone just being kind of ballsy and desperate.
I think there's going to be there's a decent amount of heavy and medium braking zones here, and so I don't think deployment's going to be a major factor here, because I think for the most part, in overtaking positions, both drivers are going to tend to have the battery to attack and defend, and so it'll be a fairly equal playing field. Whereas on a track like Spa or Silverstone, you have to pick and choose where to use it, and so you wind up with a greater differential of speed, which leads to more overtaking. So I don't know. I'm excited. It's F1. I'm always excited to watch the race, but I don't have the biggest hopes for it.
Yeah, it might come down to who's got the biggest huevos to brake later. I mean, you got like the end-ish of Sector 3, you almost have like a 90-degree right-hander. I don't know the turn numbers that far into the lap. You have like a 90-degree right-hander, which, I mean, obviously it's not 90-degree. You cut the corner a little bit, the curb. But then you have like a double left. I feel like some people might be able to make things happen. It'll be a little sketchy, but...
Yeah.
I mean, Max took Eau Rouge. I rewatched that video like 3 times today from a spectator's point of view. And like he's literally scraping the track, like he took like a super weird line
and made it stick. It was impressive.
It was very, very impressive. You just have people, Max is a good example, but you have people that just get creative. Piastri in 2024 had the move on it was Lewis or Charles, and I always get the track wrong. Is it Singapore? I said Baku last time. He had the outside in the dirt. It's a walled circuit street track.
Oh, Baku. Around Leclerc.
It was Baku. Okay, yeah, around Leclerc.
Mm-hmm.
You get people getting creative and ballsy, so who knows? And there's
it took
no
me a while
walls,
to remember
so...
what you were talking about. But yeah, that was a great overtake. Well, should we dive into what it might look like this year? Start with weather?
Yeah. Very little chance of rain, dry, warm, 70s, 80s, 20% chance of rain on Sunday, but I mean...
It changed dramatically. I looked yesterday and it was over 60% chance of rain, so it may yet change again.
Very early in the week still.
I'm thirsty for some wet weather action. I want the drama. I want the strategy. I don't want anyone to get hurt, but I want to see a crash and some drama and some stuff.
I want some rain. We talk about this all the time. I like to get the strategy, the loss of control, the wheel banging. I mean, if someone loses a front wing, someone loses a front wing. It is what it is. But a little bit of weather, it levels the playing field. You know, everyone that's watched for a long time says that. I mean, you see who like the raw drivers are, which is one reason why I'm a big fan of Max. It like doesn't matter what's out there. The dude is a monster once he puts a helmet on. We talked about Kimi. I mean, last year he kind of showed it, and this year he hasn't had the chance. Last year there was kind of high praise for Kimi being good in wet weather. We haven't really gotten to see that. I'm excited to see that, and you kind of see like a little bit more rookies versus vets when you get the weather. Like
we got a very small taste in Australia.
Yes.
Where we had the incident up at the front where Oscar went off, but Kimi had a great drive in the rain in that race. So. What do you think about Ferrari this weekend? Is this their opportunity to gain serious points on Merc? We got a lot of corners here. That's where their advantage is. Deployment's not going to be as big of a factor.
I was thinking about this, so I think it kind of levels them with Merc a little bit. Kimi's a monster, so I don't think I rank anyone higher than Kimi right now on the regular. Lewis has a very before I get to drivers, Ferrari has a technical car. Dude, my brain's fried today. I almost said truck. Dealt with trucks.
Tractor.
Tractor. Ferrari has a very good red tractor. They're good on the corners and the slower aspects of the track. So I think hopefully we get more of a battle. That'd be great. Lewis has a very good track record around Hungary. Very good. We have it somewhere in our notes. It's like 8. He's 8 for 9 converting poles or something like that.
Yep. Yeah.
So I would call that a monster at this track. Charles has found form, but doesn't have a great history at Hungary. So that'll be interesting because we're just talking about how well he's doing. Kimi's on form. I think we're going to talk about George, but who the frick knows where George is at right now? So
I'm not going to spoil my predictions, but I have an opinion, and it's very strong.
Yeah, get to Mr. George. I think Ferrari has a really good chance here, and I think if they can manage to keep Kimi from getting a P1, or maybe it just comes. You said it. Maybe it comes down to quality. If Ferrari could get lock out a front row, I think they have a very good shot at locking this race.
Work together to keep Kimi behind.
And if they could keep Kimi back, even if it's kind of sacrificing a little bit, like a little bit of a team game, constructors is not out of reach. Same with the drivers' championship. If they play it correctly, I think they could have a big weekend. I don't think you're keeping Kimi out of the top 4. I don't think it's happening, but
I agree. I do think their best opportunity is a front row lockout and to work together. I think based on the evidence that we've seen thus far, Ferrari has let them race. There hasn't been really any team orders there, and so whether we get that or not, I'm going to say no. Seems like they are willing to let them fight, at least at this point in the season. But who knows? Maybe they decide to join forces, do a little Dragon Ball Z fusion and defeat Kimi. So
I just want to see the fighting. So let's hope for it. Even if it's Ferrari on Ferrari again, that's fine. I would take a Mercedes versus Mercedes, Ferrari versus Ferrari, Red Bull versus Red Bull, McLaren versus McLaren. If that's how we have to divide it up, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let them race.
Just let them race.
I don't care.
Well, speaking of fights, what do you think about is this the opportunity we've been asking for it all season, right? A straight up fair fight between McLaren and Red Bull. Are we going to get it?
I don't know. I think this is a good one, kind of like the Ferrari Mercedes. I think this is a good track for it to happen. Sadly, now that I think about it, I don't know how much the fighting will be. There's not a ton of overtaking spots. But hopefully people get creative, at least, if it does kind of turn into the DRS train style race, or, Monaco, I shouldn't say DRS, but if it does turn into that, at least it'll, everyone will be covering very closely. If there's a mistake, they'll be able to take advantage of it.
I think you got to look for Max and Oscar to be the aggressive ones here. So maybe those two will have some back and forth with some weird overtaking spots.
100%. I think you nailed that. I don't want to say Norris or Hadjar are timid, but they're definitely less aggressive.
Compared to the other two, yes.
Oscar and Max will take a risk. I think if Oscar and Max were in third or fourth in quali, I would not be surprised if one of them sent it down the inside and locked up, trying to just tried to get there. I know Max would. 100%. He'd be like, if I could get in first, I could win the race.
Sent it down the inside of Lewis the other year and bounced up over his rear tire. Messed up his floor.
Yeah. I think there's lots of options for fighting here between the teams. I think it also kind of opens up the door for it to not just be a two-team up front fighting. I think if people qualify well, this could be very, very interesting.
Yeah, we could see a good mix of cars at the front here. I think Oscar's at a little bit of a disadvantage. It's confirmed that he's going to miss FP1. He has looked a step behind Lando as of recently, and so this gives him one less session to get the car underneath him and feel comfortable on a track where rhythm really matters. So be on the lookout for that.
And let me say it before you do, because every time you say it doesn't happen, it's rumored again that McLaren might test their Macarena wing. Every time Kyle says it, it never happens. So I'm going to say
it. 3 races in a row. I'm just getting blue-balled over here.
Fornaroli will be in place of Oscar. I don't think you actually said his name, but it'll be cool to see. I don't know if they'd throw the Macarena wing on the rookie, though. Is that...
No, it's going to be Lando who tests it. It'll be, if at all, it will be Lando FP1 to test it. I mean, I guess you can test it on this track. I don't know why you would run it at this track.
Straight line speed.
Because there's only one real straight zone. I think you would die if you had the Macarena wing going into the end of Sector 1, that high-speed left-hander. That's a scary corner, and there's a runoff, but it's not a giant one. Yeah, that would be terrifying. Like if Max had one of his crashes there, like he's been having, that would be not great. Speaking of Max, it's rumored that Red Bull has found the issue with the Macarena wing, and we will see it return this weekend. So we'll see.
This weekend. Oh, you've seen more news than me. That's awesome and terrifying at the same time. I would almost say, why even bring it back this weekend?
Well, they've proven that they can be competitive without it.
Yeah, that's
Finish
what
on
I'm
the
saying.
podium.
I guess if they see the benefits. I don't know. It's not open on high-speed corners. Yeah, I don't know really what the benefit of bringing it back would be unless you're going to just try it out in FP1. Their wing didn't seem too bad in Spa, so...
Yeah, I guess the differential between the lowest drag setting and the highest downforce setting, the Macarena wing would be more efficient in that sense. Like, you're going to be running the car in a high downforce setup, and so the most drag that you can remove from the car via the Macarena wing is going to give you the best overtaking opportunity into turn one. So I can see
a good way to look at
there.
it, yeah.
But how scary, right? The first time I go into that brake zone with a Macarena wing that's failed on me twice, like, I'm puckering. That would be very terrifying.
See Max in there, and they're like pre-practice conference, like, so Hadjar's going to go out first, actually, and he's going to drive my car. Breaking news: Hadjar will not participate in FP1. He is scared. Big news. Mm-hmm. Aston is dragging in their B-Spec car, or that's what everyone's calling it, is the B-Spec car, because it's going to be a new car.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors that Nui cooked here, and he's going to bring this magical upgrade, and the car is going to be competitive with the midfield. Yet, the number that gets thrown around is 2 seconds per lap. Well, guess what, guys? They are on average about 2 seconds slower than Cadillac. So what do we mean by midfield? Do we mean other teams? Because the back of the grid is not the midfield, in my opinion.
No. I would say their season's scrapped. I mean, you're going into summer break, so I think this is the time to... Obviously, you can't really do testing in summer break, but this is the time to see where you're at. And then I think it's kind of like hey, let's make a decision on how we're going to look at the rest of the season.
Yep.
Because they've basically just been doing practice runs. Hey, this is Nui cooked, and I like Adrian Nui, but he was supposed to cook at the beginning of the season, and that went horribly. And he, has a legendary career. I don't know. 2 seconds isn't enough. I think if you're going to bring a whole new car with how far you're behind, you should be above Cadillac.
Yeah.
It's not,
yeah, I mean,
you're
you have
not
to
a new
be.
team. You paid for the best designer ever in Formula One. You have a championship winning driver who still shows glimpses of like what he could do. He's just in a crap car. Stroll always catches the flack, but he's in F1 for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
He's made some silly mistakes the last couple of years that don't make any sense, like driving back into gravel. You pass up Williams, like show something. Williams sucks too. Like you should be. I think the bar should be competing against Williams at minimum.
Agreed. I 100% agree. I think if you're not battling a Williams, you have failed. It's interesting to me because, Adrian Newey is known for his aero design, yet I think the thing that's letting this car down is the Honda engine. And I don't think they're getting that updated engine until Zandvoort was the last thing that I saw. That is not confirmed. And so, weight, aero, I don't know what else they could be bringing. Suspension, like...
I would hope it's the whole shebang, dude.
Same, but I think... I think that these cars are just so dependent on the deployment that they have a shit engine and shit deployment, and that's going to plague them until Honda gets their act together.
I mean, maybe that's where the 2 seconds comes from, because I feel like if you get all that you just explained correct, they probably could find 2 seconds. but they're still going to be extremely lacking in pace when it comes to deployment.
I wonder. We need to do some fact checking here. I wonder how long their contract is with Honda. What if they just said, Honda, you boned us, you're out, and we're going to go buy that Mercedes engine again? Because they used the Merc engine last year. And obviously they need to redesign because your engine cover and your chat, like all that stuff revolves around the engine. But maybe in their eyes, that's worth the effort. Like,
I think that
scrap
would be
the thing and start over. Maybe some of the principles apply, but it's going to be a new design. Like,
I think that would be your summer break choice, right? Like,
it's got to be on the table.
Hey, how does this feel? Yeah, we're going the right direction. If not, let's just suck it up the rest of the season. We're going to be lapped 3 times.
Yeah,
we're gonna pull the James Vowles. We're gonna go talk to Mercedes. Hey, we want to buy. We want to be a customer team next season. We're going to start designing our car for that and screw this season.
Yeah, I wonder. I can't think of another team that has done it outside of a new regulation set. And so I don't know. That would be interesting. I think we need to do a little bit of research there, but
I don't think you could do it mid-season.
No, you couldn't do it mid-season, but I think could you bring it in 2027?
The Honda motor, yeah,
exactly.
I don't see why not. It would take a lot of work, but
yeah, I think you have to go for something like that if you want to have any kind of hopes for fighting for a championship. Like if I'm Lawrence Stroll and this is how the first half of the season has gone, like heads are gonna roll, man. I'm a billionaire. I don't put up with this crap.
No, I'm sure he's cracking skulls right now. I think if we're gonna, I think this is actually a good track to see what these upgrades bring. Since like you said, it's not the power unit. Hey, this is our aero heavy. Like we could do high downforce, screw the straight. Like let's see what we do in all the technical stuff because their car sucks all around. So if they can keep up, F1, you have all the data in the world. Look at the sector times. Where can we keep up? Okay, so we're lacking in power and deployment. Okay, cool. So we just wait till our next upgrade. Cool. We're looking pretty good. If you still suck everywhere, I mean...
No. Yeah. Do you think it's possible that they challenge the midfield here or even this season at all?
I think like the middle back half of the midfield's possible. I think if this goes well, so let's say 2 seconds, let's say they marry this new aero chassis design to the Honda motor and they have a lot more power, I think you can compete with like Haas Williams tops. I don't think Haas Haas looked good in the beginning of the season. Behrman is basically the front of the back half of the midfield. Like Behrman's outperforming Ocon.
He's a really good Williams. Milestone.
Yeah. So I think if you could fall in behind Behrman, I think that would be
Sainz and Behrman should be who you want to be next to. I think you've got to look at it as if we're not fighting for like Q2 consistently by the end of the season, like that's a serious disappointment.
That's a good, I think those drivers in Q2, and then because if those teams improve, the drivers kind of become irrelevant. But yeah, Q2 is a good. I mean, that's like the midfield goal, right? And a random Q3 is amazing. But that's like the top. That's not Racing Bulls, but that's like Audi right now.
Audi's like, Racing Bulls, maybe a Haas on a lucky day, but
yeah, lucky day right now.
How about our top dogs, Merc? What do you see their weekend looking like?
Where do we want to get into Merc? So let's get into...
There's been news coming out of Spa.
Yes.
There's still a lot of conversation around George and the engine and his issues. Toto basically said... let me back up. Russell has basically gone off the deep end and is like got his tinfoil hat on. He's like, I don't have the same car as Kimi. Like the team is doing me dirty.
Classic.
Yeah, the classic F1 trope of like, well, it's not an equal playing field because he's got a better car, and like it's been dramatized on F1 or on a Drive to Survive before. Like swap the chassis if you think it's even, and da 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 da. It's all games. I think.
I mean,
you
Toto,
a caliber driver that drives an F1, you have to have some level of ego to know that you're capable of this. But I think this is over the line, right? Where you're like not taking any accountability for your driving, and just saying like, hey, well, I'm not being dealt with fairly and the car's working against me and the team's not setting it up, da 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 da. Like
this
whatever.
This is unacceptable. This is definitely unacceptable. I mean, so Toto came out and said some of it's engine performance, which you could believe. I mean, he was doing like, it was like 35, 40 less kilometers per hour than Charles down the straight.
On lap
which
one.
Is crazy.
Well, he didn't have battery, so no, yeah, that makes sense.
So I that makes sense, but just based on his reaction, like I said, George is a good driver. Like I would say he's an excellent driver. He's a very good F1 driver. He has to take credit for some of it. Every single weekend, it's like a build-up of like, okay, I got to get through free practice 1, and then I get a little faster, free practice 2, free practice 3, and then he's like starting to get on Kimi's pace. It's
what I equate it to is Lewis last season. Like Lewis almost went to the opposite end of the spectrum, where like I was genuinely concerned for his mental health. Like he was like, I suck. I don't know what I'm doing in the sport. Like I'm bad. I don't know. You and I have had the same experience with Russell. Like, I think we both started as not liking the guy. He comes across as a little pompous, kind of the rich boy, little bit of entitlement kind of thing. At least that's like the vibes I get when I hear him talk. And but then, you know, we've listened to the High Performance podcast, which I think we're on track to just mention that podcast every episode.
I know. I need to contact them, like a guest appearance or something at this point. Like, we don't really have a viewership, but by the way, we talk about you unintentionally all the time.
George did an episode there, and it really did kind of humanize him for me.
100%.
And so I can kind of respect him a little bit more after I understood him a little bit deeper. But this is the kind of stuff that contributes to the impression of being like an entitled brat, right? Like, it's not me, like, duh. So I really don't like that.
I think in Mercedes, you have crossed a line on that team if Toto comes out and basically speaks against you.
Yeah. Well, I remember the radio it was a few races ago, and like George started to say something about the car, like this, you know, this wasn't that good, but we did it. And Toto just nipped it in the bud. He was like, nope, it was fine, George. Like on the radio, on the broadcast.
And then on, was it Canada that George kind of pushed Kimi off track and Kimi was losing it? And Toto came on, was like, Kimi, just drive. Yep. Like when Toto steps in, we're past the principal, right? It's like Grandpa steps in, like, "Hey, I own this team. Shut up and drive."
Maybe this is too niche, but like the '90s era, like Big Dog T-shirt. Do you know the one that I'm talking about with like the Saint Bernard?
Yeah,
like
that has a bulldog,
that's Toto
bro.
Right now.
No, it's a Saint Bernard. Dog. You're right.
Yeah.
I think I understand the car issues, but if he takes a step back, Kimi has had major issues too. Maybe not as many, but suspension break, that was a race win. Car shut down, race win. And you could kind of argue that for a little bit of George. I don't think he was winning Spa.
No.
I don't think he had
not
the
from
pace.
The way he looked.
I mean, maybe P3, maybe P4. I don't think he had the pace.
I think that was Kimi and Leclerc's race all day.
100%. I think P3 was up for grabs for quite a few people. We had virtual safety cars, so we've done Spa. Spa's gone. I think he's lost confidence. I think he's frustrated. I think it's intimidating to have this 19-year-old who doesn't seem to lose any confidence or get frustrated. Like, yeah, he had his little rant that we just talked about. Toto stomped out with George in one race, but Kimi has had DNFs. His car shut down. You didn't hear him whining and crying. He seemed
It's
to keep
luck.
it like an
It's
even
just
keel.
bad luck.
It happened, and then he had the suspension break. And Homeboy's like, "I'm gonna try. Like, I'm gonna get a point." Like that's like,
that killer
I don't want to say
instinct. You don't just throw up your
different.
hands.
Like he's like, I got this. Like I'll get a point. He knows, hey, this could be my championship. Like this is it. So I think George is showing cracks, while Kimi's not.
I think he's come fully unraveled. Is my take. I think at this point, I mean, I'm as bold as to say he's not finishing better than P3 in the Drivers' Championship. I think Hamilton is P2. Maybe if Ferrari gets it together, they can challenge Kimi by the end of the season. But I don't think George is in the running, based on how things are trending and where he is in the points.
He might. I mean, he could finish P3, P4 in the championship still. Like if he like if he's not getting podiums, he's not going to be up there. And I hate to say it, but the McLarens and Max aren't that far away. They are. But wait, and this isn't me saying there's a comeback coming. Right now, where Max is the same amount of points.
I
that he
knew
came
this
back
was where you were going.
Wait, I'm not fanboying. But there's people in front of Max that are great drivers and have a good car. So the McLarens are not out of this. I'm not saying P1. The McLaren's not out of this. Ferrari's definitely not out of this. So to drop George down to like 3, 4, or 5, it's very doable if he falls apart. Like if he pulls a Piastri, like he's gonna fall.
He has a bad luck streak like Piastri had last year. It's over.
Yeah. So I think you're right. He's not showing cracks. He's crumbling. I think what he needs is to show up to Hungary, have a really good race, and go into summer break on a high, and go like sit on a yacht somewhere.
Show up to Hungary. Hungry.
Yes, nice pun. Good job.
Yep.
Fair. Well done. Where's my little race car? Meow.
Da, 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 da. We need sound
away.
effects.
I know.
No special liveries. Disappointment.
It's too early in the week, dude.
I don't think anyone's going to do it. It's going into summer break. Like, this isn't a track that's really known for the special liveries. I think teams are just going to run with their standard stuff. The one update, which I noticed on track and questioned because it looked different to my eye, but confirmed, Cadillac have swapped their standard livery to be more reflective of that Miami livery that we loved. It doesn't have the red, white, blue, but they've done away with the split half and half thing. It's now a solid white to black gradient, which I think we both agree is way cleaner.
It's a great choice. Great choice.
Yeah.
It's a bummer they didn't keep the color, but they got a black white thing going, so
I can live with it.
You do you.
It's
it's
better
fine.
than
It's better
what
than
they had.
split.
I think they saw our episode. My rant during the livery. They fired the guy who learned Photoshop.
This guy knows what he's talking about.
Well, the other thing I wanted to talk about is just the fact that this is the last race before the summer break. After this, we've got a full month off, and then we're headed to Zandvoort at the end of August. It's been a while since it's felt like this, not since March when Bahrain and Jeddah were canceled. It's going to be another one of those months of like, well, what do I do with myself? What do you mean I don't have plans this weekend?
Yeah, it has felt pretty back to back, a couple gaps.
It's been great.
I don't know. I have a couple things to catch up on for the podcast, so that'll be good. But
yeah, we've got a list of things to run through. I think silly season's going to take... This is always the point in the season where silly season takes over because no one's got anything else better to talk about. So we'll have some drama and some updates. Maybe we'll revisit livery and helmet rankings and stuff.
Yeah, throw a hot laps in there, do a silly season episode.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be stuff. Maybe we'll just find all the pictures of who's doing the coolest vacations, biggest yacht competition, something like that.
Yeah, someone on a yacht in the Mediterranean swimming in the ocean is guaranteed.
100%.
I think we'll save that one. We'll cover that later. You want to get into your predictions? for this weekend? You're up. Actually, I'm up first.
You're up first.
You went first last weekend
because, like I said, today's been a day, so I haven't overly thought about it. But I've been brainstorming a little bit.
I've got it locked and loaded. Do you want me to just dive in?
No, give me your front row.
Front row.
I'll do all of it.
Lewis, Kimi. I think Lewis comes back with a charge here. He's got a really great track history here. We talked about Ferrari having a little bit of an advantage here. Their benefits in the corners. However, you go back and you look at Monaco, and Kimi was right there with him. So it's not like they're a slouch around this track. Lewis, Kimi, front row.
Do you want to hear mine?
Yeah.
Kimi, Lewis.
I think you're just matching me. If you
No,
match
not
all
really...
of my picks, then I won't gain any points on
you. No, I won't do that. I really wanted to say Max here, but I
made fun of you last week for it, so I'm not going to.
I know you're not going to because I did well last week.
Yeah.
You got to get me this week. I wanted to say Max or Charles, but Kimi looks unstoppable. Lewis has an amazing track record here, so it's real, and he has the quality record time, which I know that was a different era, but it's hard to put anyone else there. I thought about Charles. Lewis has done better. Kimi's being Kimi right now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Lewis is going to get P1 though.
No?
In quali, yeah. I think Kimi's going to take his foot off the pedal for a second and get that extra boost, that little trick he's got.
Yeah, we didn't get into that, but there's some shenanigans going on with deployment and let off. Well, I'll dive into my podium. Lewis, Kimi. I think we may see a battle, particularly at the beginning of the race, but I think this is going to wind up fairly processional. I think Leclerc P3. I think he's going to be right there with him.
I actually don't like you going first this week because we kind of just talked about the Ferraris being good, so I want to be different. Do I give Ferrari a win? Question, because we haven't talked about this. Let's say, I don't think I'm going to put the same three people on the podium. Let's say we both put the same three people on the podium, different order. If someone gets it perfect, do they get a bonus point?
Sure. Yeah, we can do it that way.
Or if you get it perfect.
Because right now it's just if you name a name and that name's on the podium, you get a point. Whether you had them first or third or whatever. Bonus point for perfect. I like that.
I want to be out of the box.
Ocon.
Absolutely not. He's
Ocon,
so bad right now, dude.
Alonso,
we could do a whole episode
Max.
we should do an episode on the back half of the grid and just bitch about it.
The thought that just popped in my head is we should do the bottom three, but then I realized it would just be Alonso, Alonso, Stroll, and Bottas every week.
Shoot, podium. I'm taking too long. Kimi, Lewis, Lando.
Ooh.
I really wanted to say Max, but Lando's had pace and's gotten kind of unlucky, so actually very unlucky.
Somewhat intentionally, I didn't make a prediction about McLaren because every time I do, the opposite happens. I was really big on them, and then they sucked. And then I was really down on them, and Lando got a podium. So I'm just gonna stop pretending.
Yeah, I really want to say Max for the podium, but I feel like I got semi-lucky at Spa. And I feel like he's going to be competitive here, but I don't know if it's going to be a podium.
Yeah. I think it's fair. So next up, we're going to do our guess. I branded it. It's now Guess the Grid. So this is where we do our randomized order. Last week it was P6. This week it is P9.
P9 is harder.
I disagree.
Oh.
I went with Liam Lawson.
Actually, now that I think about it,
he finished well here last year in the V-Carb, and V-Carb is clearly the best of the rest. So I feel pretty good about that.
I could just go at you and say Lindblad.
I feel like that's been the trend of your predictions.
Is Lawson getting the upgrade for Hungary?
Ooh, I don't know.
Oh, you already said your answer. Sucks to suck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, and I might eat this one,
Max.
Let's keep Bortoletto on a hot streak.
Ooh, I like it.
You didn't spell that right. There's no way.
Yeah, I did. I promise. Okay. I thought really hard about my X Factors this week because you gave me shit about my Spa X Factors.
This is going to be great because you overthought yours, and like I said, I haven't thought about anything all day. So this is just going to be coming out my brain.
Okay. First one, George qualifies P7 or lower.
That was kind of in my brain that he was going to qualify bad without, not for X Factor, just when we're talking about him. I don't know, 7 is deep, dude.
I committed. Right. You told me to be spicy.
7 or
my logic here, Homeboy only has one Q3 appearance at Hungary in his career.
Oh, you've done research. So George is on a down and going into a track he's not good at.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay. Sucks to suck,
He's had
George.
some recovery drives. He's gotten points here. But if you look at his track record here, like over 50% of them have been P16 or back starting position. Given some of those were with Williams, right? Completely different car. And with a Mercedes that kind of sucked at the time. However, I think that's got to have a role here. He's come unraveled. He's lost his confidence. He's always been kind of behind Kimi at the beginning of the week, has to build back up in order to even challenge. And even then, he's behind him. And so I think the deck is stacked against him this week. So that's my first one. Second one.
There's 2.
There's always 2. Because I don't like gambling in real life, but with pretend points where I have nothing to lose, I'm happy to gamble. Williams in the bottom 2.
Like, whoa. Define bottom 2. Like bottom 2?
Bottom
like
2.
21, 22. Like one of their
At
cars
least one
in there?
Williams, P21, 22.
Okay. Counting DNFs and everything.
The order that they are on the timing table at the end of the race doesn't matter circumstance.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yep.
So race cars dead or alive.
Race cars dead or alive. Yeah, I mean my logic there is it's kind of a double gamble of Aston improves and Williams, which we know isn't bringing an upgrade until Baku, struggling around a track like this. So.
All right, caddies got to bring their game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you got?
All right, first one. Lindblad, no points.
Okay.
I feel like he's been on a high for too long. Technical track, rookie. He's been amazing. I like the kid, but I feel like there's got to be a point where he has a low.
That could be good points for you if Bortoletto winds up P9, Lawson P10, Lindblad P11. That could be a good finish for you point-wise in the predictions.
And I'm trying to figure out how to define my second one without it sounding too easy.
I'll give you. I was gonna say Lindblad is like fairly conservative guess, but you gave me a pass last week, so you get a pass.
I mean, okay. Fair. I'll take this one. I could say like P12 or lower because that gives them like an extra space out of the points.
Whatever you think. I
want to predict a crash, but I'm trying to define. I don't want it to be lame. I don't want him to get hurt. I'm trying to find if I want to say like
I have one name in my brain.
Oh, I wasn't trying to predict it. There's a few people out that come to my name if I want to predict a driver for a crash.
Starts with S and rhymes with roll.
Mine starts with an O and it sounds like Ocon.
It sounds like Ocon.
I am going to say teammates collide and one of them DNFs. That's a big one.
Okay. I won't hold you to this, but do you have a guess as to when is this like turn one? Is this, what do you think? Because our spiciest action in Spa was actually after the pit stops with V-carb on V-carb almost making contact out of the pits. Came out on top of one another.
I mean, if I'm being honest, it's probably, depending on quality, would probably be turn one or, yeah, I mean, probably turn one. But I sound like dumb if I just say, or after the pits. But if teammates are fighting and then someone tries to like undercut or something, kind of like the V-carbs, it's, tends to happen. The way that this year's going is all the cars aren't as meshed up other than like the very middle. So it's
very
like
2x2.
Very likely you have like Aston fighting, Cadillac fighting, Williams fighting. Haas actually has kind of been the biggest like split because Behrman's been the front of that like back half. Ocon was like P18 or something from Spa. Like he's like 7/10 off Behrman.
I think we're gonna get into this for sure during the summer break, but I do think Ocon's seat is in serious jeopardy.
I think he's gone.
Yeah. I've also got some opinions about Behrman, but we'll save that.
Yeah, I'd love to hear them. I would love to hear them.
Is that it for your X Factors? We locked out?
I can't do 3, dude. I only got a 1-point advantage on you. So I think Lindblad's already kind of but and the teammate crash. Teammate crash makes it very
I'll take it.
Fine. I originally was going to say
teammate crash, safety car,
but
dramatic
the parameters
finish.
were the person that DNF'd had to be missing a tire and their front wing had to be
That's very
toast.
specific.
Well, if I can't say like driver crash. That's lame. Or I mean, I was trying to define like what would be like a major crash without like.
Yeah, sure. Gets a rear leapt puncture.
It would be like this is a 10x X factor.
Yeah, you get it's qualifiers. Like every specific detail that you give, you get an extra point.
Sergio Perez pulls
on
carbon
lap
fiber.
22. Oscar Piastri goes around the outside, runs over carbon fiber, and has a slow leak. And his back left tire pits and has a stop of 2.8 seconds.
And then runs over one of his crew.
Oh gosh.
Before we're about to end it, but did you see Perez? I don't know how we didn't talk about this. Did you see Perez take the carbon fiber off of his car at Spa?
Oh yeah, I reached up it. Yeah.
It's classy.
Yeet.
It's great. That's all we have for you guys. Let's enjoy Hungary. Adios.